The night split apart with a deafening roar as silver fire ripped through the sky, shattering the calm of the village. Elara whispered, "Why now, when love had just begun?" Her emerald eyes brimmed with tears as Seelan was dragged into the storm, his form dissolving against the brilliance. Rowan stumbled, crying out, "What is happening?" The ground shook violently, throwing villagers into chaos as homes crumbled in flame and shadow. Elara ran, her hair whipping in the storm, her voice breaking with each cry for Seelan. A cloaked figure stood at a distance, watching with cold triumph, whispering into the roaring wind, "The curse begins tonight." The storm faded into eerie silence. Elara staggered forward, her body trembling, her eyes searching the sky for Seelan. Rowan gripped her arm, his voice breaking, "He's gone." She shook her head fiercely, whispering, "No, I can still feel him." Alaric approached slowly, his staff dimming, his face heavy with sorrow. "The moon has claimed him," he said. The villagers gathered, their eyes narrowing with fear and suspicion, whispers curling like smoke. "She brought the curse," one muttered. Elara's chest tightened, her voice barely audible. "I will find him, even if the moon itself stands in my way." Elara stumbled into the wreckage of her home, her hand brushing charred beams. Smoke curled upward, stinging her eyes as she whispered, "Seelan's name." Rowan lingered at the doorway, torn between anger and worry. "You can't keep chasing shadows," he muttered. She pressed her forehead to the blackened wall, tears mixing with soot. "I will not lose him," she swore, her voice trembling but fierce. Alaric stood behind, his tone grim. "Love can be power, but it can also be chains." Elara turned sharply, fire burning in her gaze. "Then let it bind me. He'll burn before I let him go." A cold wind swept through the ruins as a figure approached from the darkness. Elara spun, her heart leaping, hoping it was Seelan. Instead, Alaric stepped forward, his eyes grave. "You are tied to him now," he said. Rowan hissed, "She's cursed." Elara's fists clenched, fury sparking in her veins. "I will not let your fear decide my fate," she snapped. Seelan's ghost flickered faintly above, his presence fragile but unbroken. Alaric's voice softened, "Then prepare yourself, for the moon tests those who love most." Elara lifted her chin, defiance blazing in her eyes, ready to face the storm again. The villagers gathered again, whispers growing into fearful shouts. One cried, "She has cursed us." Rowan moved protectively in front of Elara, his voice shaking but brave. "Leave her alone." Elara's chest heaved, her fists trembling, but her voice was strong. "I will not be broken." Alaric stepped beside her, staff glowing faintly, his gaze sweeping the crowd. "Fear blinds you. The true curse has only begun." Above them, Seelan's form shimmered faintly, bound in silver threads of moonlight. Elara looked up, her voice soft but filled with fire. "I will fight the moon itself if I must." The fire's glow faded as dawn crept across the shattered village. Elara stumbled toward the forest's edge, her body trembling yet her spirit unbroken. Rowan followed reluctantly, muttering, "This is madness, Elara." Her eyes glistened as she whispered, "Kaelin is still alive, and I will not stop." A low voice echoed ahead, calm yet ancient, "Your love ties you to the moon's curse." A tall figure emerged from the mist, his silver staff glinting in the morning light. Master Alaric, a weathered man of 60, gazed at her with sorrowful wisdom. The villagers shrank back, whispering of forbidden knowledge. Elara's breath caught as he said, "To find Seelan, you must first learn the truth of the moon." The group entered the forest, shadows stretching beneath towering pines. Master Alaric walked with slow dignity, his staff leaving faint sparks in the soil. "The moon was never kind," he said, his tone heavy with old grief. Elara asked, "Why me?" Her voice trembled, yet her eyes burned with determination. Rowan muttered, "Because trouble follows you," though his voice betrayed fear. Seelan's spectral image flickered above, his form straining against invisible chains. The forest itself seemed to listen as silence deepened, every rustle of leaves echoing their unease. Alaric's gaze hardened. The moon chose you because love is its most dangerous weapon. They stopped at a clearing where moonlight lingered, though the sun rose above. Elara stared at Seelan's flickering form, her voice cracking. "Hold on, I will free you." Seelan's lips moved, though no sound reached her. Rowan kicked at the dirt nervously, whispering, "This is wrong." Master Alaric raised his staff, lines of silver light spiraling around Elara's hands. "The bond you share is power, but power cuts deep." Elara gasped as warmth spread through her veins, both painful and beautiful. She clenched her fists, whispering, "I will bear it." The clearing glowed brighter, the air thick with ancient energy. The ground trembled as silver light burst across the clearing. Elara staggered, clutching her chest as her bond with Seelan flared stronger. Rowan shouted, "You're killing her!" but his words were drowned by thunder. Master Alaric steadied her with a firm hand, whispering, "Endure, child, for only through pain comes strength." Seelan's ghostly form flickered violently, his gray eyes filled with agony. Elara lifted her head, tears burning, then let it burn, for love is endless. The forest cracked with light, branches snapping as though the world itself strained under the weight of her vow. The chaos quieted, leaving only heavy breaths and drifting ash. Elara sank to her knees, exhausted but unbroken. Rowan knelt beside her, placing a trembling hand on her shoulder. "You'll die for him," he whispered. She answered softly, "I will live for him." Seelan's fading form gazed at her, eyes filled with silent love. Master Alaric lowered his staff, his face lined with sorrow. "The path is set. To break the curse, one must bleed beneath the moon." The words weighed heavy on them. Yet Elara raised her chin, her voice trembling but fierce. "Then I will face the moon itself." The forest path led to a cliffside bathed in pale moonlight, waves crashing far below. Elara's eyes lingered on Seelan's flickering form, her chest heavy with longing. "I can feel you," she whispered, her voice breaking. Seelan's ghostly figure shimmered, his storm-gray eyes locked onto hers with unspoken devotion. Rowan shifted uneasily, muttering, "This is not right. He's not even alive." Elara turned sharply, her defiance blazing. "He is alive, and I will reach him." Master Alaric leaned on his staff, his expression grave. "Love may bind you, but it also burns you." The night wind carried their words away like fragile embers. Elara stepped closer to Seelan's fading light, her hand trembling as if to touch him. Seelan's voice reached her faintly. "Your strength is mine as well." Tears slipped down her face, yet she smiled through them. Rowan groaned. "This bond will destroy us all." Alaric's gaze sharpened. "Do not confuse fear with wisdom." Elara whispered, "Love is no weakness," her tone fierce though her body shook. Seelan's ghostly hand lifted as though brushing her cheek, the contact stirring warmth in her veins. For a heartbeat, they both glowed with the same silver light, their bond undeniable, dangerous and beautiful. From the shadows stepped Lyra, her form shifting between faces before settling into that of a young woman with striking silver eyes. Elara recoiled, her voice sharp. "Who are you?" Lyra smiled slyly. "A friend or an enemy, depending on how you see me." Rowan whispered, "She's dangerous." Alaric frowned. "Shapeshifters walk with lies." Lyra tilted her head, her form flickering faintly. "Or with truths you fear." Elara's heart pounded as Seelan's ghost shimmered violently, his presence unsettled by the intruder. The forest grew colder, silence pressing heavy, as if the earth itself waited to know her choice. The earth trembled again, and from the shadows came Darius, tall and scarred, his dark eyes filled with torment. Elara gasped, her breath stolen. "You were supposed to be dead." Darius' voice cracked. "I was, until the moon remade me." Rowan cursed under his breath. "This is getting worse." Seelan's ghost flickered with fury, his storm-gray gaze fixed on Darius. Alaric's tone was grim, the fallen return with chains heavier than death. Darius' hand reached for Elara, torn between longing and regret. "I still love you," he whispered, the words trembling with both truth and poison. The clearing crackled with unbearable tension as the past and present collided. Elara's voice shook. "I cannot love what betrays me." Darius' face twisted with anguish. "I betrayed nothing. I was broken." Lyra laughed softly, her silver eyes glowing. "Truth bends like shadows." Rowan stepped in front of Elara, his fear turning to courage. "You won't touch her." Seelan's ghostly light flared brighter, pulling Elara toward him. Alaric struck his staff against the ground, the forest ringing with power. "Choices will cut deeper than steel," he warned. Elara's heart pounded as she realized love itself had become both her salvation and her battlefield. The storm eased, leaving the clearing drenched in rain. Elara's breath came ragged as she clutched her chest, her heart torn between past and present. Darius's voice broke. "You once loved me." Her hands trembled, yet her reply was firm. "And I lost you to darkness." Seelan's glow pulsed fiercely, his storm-gray gaze locked on her with devotion. Rowan whispered, "This will tear you apart." Alaric stepped forward, rain dripping from his beard. The prophecy was written in blood. One love will die so the other may live. Elara's heart pounded, a hollow silence pressing down as thunder rumbled faintly above. Lightning split the sky as Lyra stepped forward, her form flickering between faces. "The moon gave you choices, not chains," she purred. Elara spat. "You twist truth into lies." Rowan growled. "We should never trust her." Seelan's ghostly form wavered, his voice faint but urgent. Her words carry pieces of truth. Alaric lifted his staff, silver sparks glinting. "The prophecy is not to be questioned. The blood of one lover will seal the curse or break it." Darius' lips curled in bitter sorrow. "Then let it be me, for I have already fallen." His words cut like a knife through the rain. The group moved into the ruins of an ancient temple, its stone cracked by time, moonlight spilling through shattered arches. Elara traced strange carvings, her voice trembling. "These marks tell the same story." Alaric's tone was heavy. "The curse was born here." Rowan muttered, "Then let's burn it down." Seelan's glow brightened, illuminating faded runes that pulsed with silver light. Darius touched the stone with scarred fingers, whispering, "I was once meant to end this, but I chose power instead." Lyra smirked, "And love suffered." Elara pressed her palm to the stone, a spark leaping as silver fire rushed up her arm. Silver fire spread across the temple walls, filling the chamber with dazzling light. Elara cried out, "It's burning me," her veins glowing with painful brilliance. Rowan grabbed her arm, desperate. "Stop before it kills you." Alaric's voice was firm. "Do not break the link or the curse will claim us all." Seelan's ghostly form flared, his storm-gray eyes filled with anguish as he shouted, "Hold on to me!" Darius stepped closer, torn, his voice raw. "Let me take it instead." Lyra's laughter echoed, sharp and mocking. "Every choice feeds the moon. No matter what you do, someone breaks." The light dimmed, leaving smoke curling through the broken temple. Elara collapsed, trembling but alive. Seelan's glow flickered faintly, his form weakened. Rowan lifted her gently, his voice breaking, "You can't keep this up." Alaric's staff dimmed as he whispered, "The prophecy is awake now. The moon will demand its due." Darius' face twisted in regret. "If sacrifice is the only way, then I will give mine." Lyra's silver eyes glittered as she smirked. "Or perhaps the moon has other plans." Elara's voice, faint but unyielding, whispered, "No more losses. I will break it without blood." The cursed moon hung heavy, bleeding silver light across the battlefield. Elara raised her arms, veins glowing faintly, her voice trembling. "This ends tonight." Seelan's ghostly form shimmered beside her, his storm-gray eyes burning with devotion. Rowan clutched a broken sword, whispering, "We are not ready." Alaric's staff struck the ground, sparks crackling as he warned, "Ready or not, destiny does not wait." Darius' scarred face twisted. "If sacrifice is demanded, let it be me." Lyra smirked, her silver eyes gleaming. How noble, or how foolish. The ground cracked open, silver fire spilling like blood beneath the moon's cruel glow. The first wave struck as the moon unleashed a violent surge of silver energy. Elara staggered, her hair whipping in the storm, yet she cried out, "I will not bow." Seelan's form expanded, shielding her with blinding light. Rowan slashed wildly with his sword, sparks scattering as he shouted, "Stay behind me!" Alaric's chants echoed, ancient words glowing along his staff. Lyra shifted forms mid-step, her features twisting, confusing the eye. Darius charged forward, his blade clashing against invisible chains of silver flame. The sky thundered, lightning streaking across stars, as their bond was tested in fire and blood. Elara fell to her knees, silver blood dripping from her palm, where the curse burned through her veins. Seelan's ghostly hand hovered above hers, desperate yet powerless to touch. Rowan knelt beside her, his voice breaking, "You can't fight it alone." Alaric lifted his staff, chanting louder, "Channel it, let love guide the flame." Darius stepped closer, his eyes full of torment. "Let me carry the curse, it was meant for me." Lyra laughed coldly. "Sacrifice is sweet, isn't it?" Elara lifted her head, her tears glowing silver. "I will not lose him," she whispered, and the earth shuddered in answer. The battlefield ignited with blinding silver fire as Elara rose again, her body trembling yet unbroken. She screamed, "I choose love, not death." The flames curved around her like wings. Seelan's ghostly form merged closer, their energies entwining. Rowan shielded his eyes, crying, "She's burning herself alive." Alaric's tone was grim but awed. "She is rewriting the prophecy." Darius fell to his knees, torn between rage and reverence, whispering, "She was never mine." Lyra hissed, her shifting form unstable. "The moon will never allow it." The cursed light exploded outward, shaking stars from the heavens. When the light faded, silence fell heavy on the battlefield. Elara collapsed, her chest heaving, the curse still burning but contained. Seelan's ghost flickered weakly, whispering, "You've chained the moon itself." Rowan rushed to her side, clutching her shoulder. "You're still alive," he breathed in relief. Alaric lowered his staff, his face etched with sorrow. "The bond holds, but the price is yet unpaid." Darius turned away, his scarred face wet with rain and regret. "I am the shadow you cannot outrun." Lyra's silver eyes glowed as she stepped closer, murmuring, "The story isn't finished. The moon always collects its debt." The battlefield lay silent, scorched with silver veins glowing faintly under the pale dawn. Elara stood shakily, her chest heaving, her body marked with burning light. Rowan helped her steady, whispering, "You're alive, somehow." Seelan's ghost flickered near, his gray eyes filled with both pride and pain. Alaric leaned heavily on his staff, his voice grave. "The moon has claimed you, child. Yet you still stand." Lyra's silver eyes narrowed, lips curling with amusement. "Or perhaps the moon bends to her." Darius turned away, shoulders hunched, murmuring, "The price will come." Elara lifted her head, trembling yet unyielding. "Then I will face it." The group gathered at the edge of the ruins, shadows long in the rising sun. Alaric traced runes in the dirt, his tone heavy. "The moon's bond cannot be broken by force. Only love or death can unmake it." Elara clenched her fists, silver sparks dancing on her skin. "Then I will wield love as my weapon." Seelan's ghostly glow pulsed in answer, his voice faint but certain, "And I will fight beside you." Rowan rubbed his temples, muttering, "We're doomed." Lyra tilted her head, sly smile curling. "Or destined." Darius' scarred hands shook, his voice hoarse, "I failed before. I cannot fail again." That night, beneath the rising moon, Elara stood alone in a circle of broken stones. Silver light fell over her, her hair glowing like fire. Seelan's ghost moved closer, his voice low, "You are stronger than the curse." She whispered, "I am terrified." Rowan's voice cut through, firm despite his fear, Fear means you still have something to lose. Alaric's chant carried across the wind, his staff raised high. Lyra leaned against a stone, smirking. Strength and fear make fine lovers. Darius' voice trembled. If she falters, we lose everything. Elara closed her eyes, drawing the moon's light into her chest. The circle erupted with energy as Elara cried out, silver fire lacing through her veins. Seelan's ghostly figure merged closer, their forms almost touching. Rowan shielded his face from the blaze, shouting, "She's tearing herself apart." Alaric's voice boomed, "Let it shape you, not shatter you." Lyra's mocking smile faltered, her form flickering as the power surged. Darius stepped forward, desperation breaking through his voice. "Take it into me instead." Elara screamed, the light bursting outward like wings, and for a heartbeat, the night turned brighter than day. Her body trembled, yet her spirit blazed unbroken. The light slowly dimmed, leaving Elara standing tall, silver fire fading into soft embers across her skin. She opened her eyes, calm yet fierce. "I am no longer the moon's prisoner." Seelan's ghostly form hovered close, whispering, "You are my hope." Rowan exhaled shakily, whispering, "You survived." Alaric lowered his staff, his eyes gleaming with pride and fear. "You have embraced destiny." Lyra tilted her head, expression unreadable, "Or destiny has embraced you." Darius bowed his head, voice heavy with regret, "And I am left in your shadow." Elara lifted her chin, the moon glowing softly behind her. The cursed moon swelled, its silver glow blotting out the stars. Elara stood in the circle of ancient stones, her body trembling yet radiant with power. Seelan's ghost hovered near, his storm-gray eyes pleading, "It must end tonight." Rowan gripped his sword with both hands, whispering, "Then we fight until nothing's left." Alaric lifted his staff, voice shaking, "The moon will demand a sacrifice, but fate may yet be bent." Lyra's silver eyes gleamed, her voice a taunt and warning, "Every vow has a price." Darius' scarred face twisted with torment, "If blood must fall, let it be mine." The moon erupted in silver lightning, splitting the sky as the stones cracked around them. Elara screamed, her voice breaking, "I will not surrender him." Seelan's form flared brighter, shielding her with desperate strength. And Rowan lunged forward, blade slicing through chains of light that lashed from the heavens. Alaric's chant rose above the storm, every word a battle against destiny. Lyra's form shimmered, torn between faces as she whispered, "Break it or be broken." Darius rushed forward, catching a wave of fire with his bare hands, his cry echoing through the clearing. "Then let me bear the curse instead." The storm calmed for a heartbeat, and in the stillness Elara's tears glistened. She whispered, "Kaelan, I cannot lose you." Seelan's ghostly hand hovered above hers, his voice breaking, "Then let me go." Rowan's shout cut through, "No, we fight together." Alaric's eyes filled with sorrow as he murmured, "Love is the key, but love demands." Lyra's smirk faded, her tone almost human. "She cannot choose both." Darius' face twisted with grief, stepping forward, "Then let her choose me." Elara's heart pounded as she realized the prophecy demanded a final act of love or sacrifice. The ground split as the prophecy roared alive. Elara screamed, lifting both hands, silver light blazing like wings. Seelan's ghost merged closer, his storm-gray eyes fierce with love. Rowan stumbled forward, shouting, "Don't give yourself away!" Alaric struck his staff against the stones, thunder echoing his voice. "The choice must be made now." Lyra's shifting form steadied, her silver eyes glowing. "Sacrifice defines you." Darius leapt between Elara and the moon's fury, his cry raw, "Then let it be me." The light consumed him, silver fire wrapping his body as he fell to his knees in both agony and redemption. When the fire faded, silence fell heavy. Darius knelt in the ashes, his scarred face softened, a faint smile of peace before collapsing. Elara staggered forward, sobbing, "Forgive me." Seelan's ghost glowed brighter, freed from chains, his hand brushing her cheek at last. Rowan exhaled in disbelief, whispering, "He chose for us." Alaric lowered his staff, voice solemn. "The prophecy is fulfilled, but at a cost." Lyra's silver eyes dimmed, her tone quiet. "Even the moon bends to love." Elara lifted her face to the sky, Seelan's hand in hers, whispering, "We are free." The cursed moon dimmed, gentle at last.